Okay, let's talk about making real change. Forget the hustle culture, forget all that empty motivation you see online. Today, we're going to talk about a totally different path, a quiet revolution. This is really a guide to making simple, lasting changes in your life. So, I want you to stop for a second and really think about this question. I mean, really think about it. If nothing at all changes for the next 5 years, would you honestly be okay with that? If the answer is a big, resounding no, then you are absolutely in the right place. All right, so before we can even think about doing anything differently, we have to build a solid foundation inside ourselves first. The first two rules we're going to cover are all about your inner world because, let's be real, that's where any true change has to begin. Here's something that's so important to get. Confidence isn't something you just magically find one day. No, it's a result of clarity. When you don't know what you truly want for yourself, you just end up chasing what looks good on other people. And that's a surefire way to feel completely lost. So this is your first real step. It's simple. Grab a piece of paper, a notebook, anything. The act of just writing down what feels true to you without worrying about anyone else's judgment is so, so powerful. You got to forget about what sounds cool or impressive to others and just focus on what's honest. Now, think about that voice inside your head. You know the one. It's like the narrator of your life, and it's running 24/7. So is that voice your biggest critic, or is it your biggest supporter? Because that internal dialogue, that conversation you have with yourself, has the power to either build you up or completely tear you down. And this is such a critical distinction. Look, you can be firm with yourself. You can hold yourself to a high standard. That's just discipline. But being cruel to yourself, that's destructive. It gets you nowhere. You have to start supporting yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a friend you really care about. Okay, so with that inner foundation starting to take shape, let's talk about action. This next part is all about the how. It's about the small, consistent steps that, over time, lead to absolutely massive change. You know, we're always told that change has to be this huge, dramatic event, but honestly, that's a myth. Real, lasting change actually comes from tiny, almost invisible actions that you just repeat over and over again consistently. It's really all about building that rhythm. Just look at these examples. They're so manageable, right? It's not about writing an entire book in one sitting. It's about writing just one page today. It's not about a total body transformation tomorrow. It's about getting in one workout. Progress loves these small, steady efforts. Now, this is a huge mindset shift. We're all kind of conditioned to see difficulty as a stop sign, as a reason to quit. But what if you saw it as a landmark instead? What if that feeling of resistance was actually a sign that you're on the right track, that you're doing something that really matters? Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. The point where things feel the hardest is so often right before the breakthrough. It's the moment just before things start to shift. So when it feels like you can't go on, that is your cue to dig in and hold on. Just stay. All right, on to our final 3 rules. And these are all about building a mindset that can actually sustain you for the long haul. Because at the end of the day, how you see the journey is what determines whether or not you'll ever even finish it. Gratitude is so much more than just a fleeting feeling. It's a seriously powerful tool for keeping your perspective. It forces you to look around and acknowledge how far you've already come, which is absolutely essential on those days when you feel like you're totally stuck. And that's why gratitude is so important for the long game. A lot of your growth, maybe most of it, is going to be invisible at first. Gratitude is what keeps you going during those quiet times, reminding you that progress is still happening under the surface, even if you can't quite see it yet. Comparison. It is such a massive energy drain for so many of us, right? It's so easy to see someone else's success and immediately feel like you're falling behind. But what if you could just reframe that whole thing? What if you could turn that pain into pure fuel? Take a look at this. Comparison just puts you in this mindset of scarcity, of competition. It's totally draining. But learning actually multiplies your energy. When you see someone else succeed, it doesn't have to be a judgment on you. It can be proof that what you want is possible. And finally, you have to let go of this idea that there's some kind of universal timeline for success. There isn't. Your journey is uniquely yours. It's not supposed to look like anyone else's. And that's not just okay, it's actually essential. I just love this. It feels like such a powerful release, doesn't it? You're not behind just because your path looks different. You are in a constant state of becoming. It's a process that is all yours, so embrace it. So, to quickly recap this last section, stay grounded with gratitude, multiply your energy by choosing to learn instead of comparing yourself to others, and please give yourself the grace to trust your own unique journey. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, but you don't have to do all of this at once. In fact, you shouldn't. That's not the point. A quiet revolution always begins with just a single, small, deliberate choice. So I'm going to ask you directly, out of these 7 rules we talked about, which one just hits you the hardest right now? Which is the one that if you just focused on it this week would make the biggest difference? That one. That's your starting point. And that's really all it takes. Just start with that one rule. Thanks so much for joining me today. And always, always remember to trust your journey.